Hello, I'm new to the FOO. My wife and I, in our early 30s, are on step 3, and we are trying to decide if our vehicles are considered high-interest debt or not. It's 2 cars totaling just under $60K of debt. So how should they go about thinking about
really
that?
Nice cars.
So 2 cars with $60,000 of debt, how do we know if they are high interest or not high interest? They didn't happen to give us the interest rate.
Didn't.
Did
I
they?
know.
23.8.
That's key.
So one of the things that we know is true is that when it comes to buying a car, we want you to subscribe to 23.8. And we actually have a whole car buying hub you can go check out at moneyguy.com/resources. We want you to put 20% down on the car. We do not want you to finance it for any more than 3 years or 36 months. We don't want the combination of all of your car payments to exceed 8% of your monthly gross income. So 23.8 is one piece of that. We want you to follow 23.8. But Brian, their question was a little bit different. We have these car payments. How do we know when a car payment qualifies as high interest debt? And this is one we've talked a little about. I think we did a recent show on this not too long ago. This is a unique one because a lot of people think, oh, well, I know that this is high interest and this is not. And I know that this is high interest and this is not. We actually have some unique thoughts when it relates to automobiles.
I think this is more of a behavioral thing. That's why 23.8 is so powerful, is because you need to go compare your cars to our rules and figure out how you can recalibrate to be within this check. And if you can't, and yeah, because more than likely, if you're just basing this off interest rates, car loan interest rates are horrible right
That's
now.
right.
I mean, we had a Making a Millionaire episode recently. Great couple. Wasn't the interest rate on that like 9%?
It was
or
up
something?
there. Yep.
It was so car rates right now just naturally are going to be high, but that doesn't mean that naturally puts it like step 3, but sometimes you still need a car to get you to your JOB, which is your first wealth building tool. But now you got to keep yourself honest.
That's right.
And be like, did I buy this because this is what's going to get me to that JOB so I can start building wealth and living on less than I make? Or did I kind of let the salesman let me focus on the car payment and then expand the amortization out to 6 years, 7 years, like everybody else in America is doing right now? And if that's the case, we got to recalibrate. And sometimes that means we figure out if we can quickly correct this in like a few month period by making some extra payments, or the harsh reality is you might have to readjust and sell the cars. And maybe it's with all this discussions on the tariffs and everything else, might not be the worst time to restructure if you got an expensive car.
So the thing that drives the ship is 23.8. We always want you to fall into that realm. But even if you're falling into 23.8 like you should be, and you say, man, okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing 23.8. I've calculated it. But how do I prioritize prepaying that or not prepaying that? How should I think through this? We think that the acceptable interest rates vary dependent upon where you are in age. So if you're someone in your 20s and your interest rate on your car is greater than 10%, we probably want you to consider prepaying that and consider that a step 3, even inside of 23.8, a step 3 issue. Inside of your 30s, it's 9%. Once you get into your 40s, it's 8%. So even if you're inside of that 23.8 confine, if your rates are that high, you may want to start knocking that out as though it were step 3 and then begin moving on through the financial order.
But that only works if you're following 23.8, because if your car payment, because we're counting on if you got a 9% interest rate, we know it's going to be extinguished within 3 years naturally. So it's just allowing you to balance that crazy act of trying to build wealth like a Roth IRA and other things that you might, or cash reserves, so you don't get caught making desperate decisions. So that's why there's additional grace on that. But if you are taking advantage of this to load up on a BMW and saying, well, heck, I heard Bo say 9% or 10%, so I'm okay. No, that make sure 23.8 has to be respected for even that halo of grace to apply.
And 23.8 doesn't apply to BMWs. If you're buying a BMW, you got to pay that off within 1 year, 12 months, same as cash. No 23.8 for luxury automobiles.